So we've had a lot of messages coming in today around truth, around standing in your truth, around peeling away the glamour, the outside layers, the superficial garbage, to reveal the actual truth in the circumstances and situations around you. Truth or Consequences was a game show in the 50s, and that popped into my head. I'm going to read this to you from Wikipedia. On the show, contestants received roughly 2 seconds to answer trivia question correctly before a buzzer sounded. On the rare occasions that a contestant did answer correctly, the host would reveal that the question had multiple parts. Failing to complete this truth portion meant the contestant had to face consequences, typically by performing a zany and embarrassing stunt. There is the truth, and then there are partial truths. And when we withhold the truth from ourselves, or most importantly, when we withhold the truth from others, when we tell partial truths, that's manipulation, right? When we are not giving someone all the information that they need to make an informed decision on their own. Hold on. When we're not telling the whole truth, or we're only giving partial truths, we're not presenting people with the information that they need to make an informed decision, we're engaging in controlling and manipulative behavior. That is meant to control someone else's decisions, choices, whatever it may be. We withhold that truth in order to see a certain reaction in somebody else. And the truth of that is rooted in dishonesty. It is inherently dishonest when we are not telling the full truth, hoping to control circumstances or people. Then we're being dishonest. And there really is no black and white there, because the truth is the truth. And the thing about the truth is that it's pretty complex, honestly. The binary is not really a real thing. That's the illusion in this world. Truth is not black and white. It is many shades of gray. It is very nuanced, and many things can be true at once. And that's something I try to help people understand here. I'm very big on dialectics, and that's because they're important. Sometimes we have to hold conflicting truths at once. I want to read the message that I wrote down that came in, and I don't know whose guides these are, but we're going to give it a little bit of a softer touch here once I've finished reading it. Sometimes these guides come in the way that I guess works best for you, but I like to rephrase because I'm a little bit more constructive. The truth withheld will fell the tower. What are you afraid of? The felled tower is no longer a prison. It breaks open. Now you are free. Did you find it easier to be trapped? Was your cage comfortable, luxurious? Were you like a princess in a tower, a damsel in distress? Could it be that this tower was never a prison, but instead a way to separate yourself from the rest of the world, even look down on others from proud, lofty heights? The tower is felled by the divine. If you rebuild it, it will fall again. Do you choose to rebuild your ivory tower, or shall you plant a garden instead? There's an understanding here that the reason that we are in the tower isn't necessarily because we feel that we're above people, although that may be the impression and the image that we are giving off. The impression that I'm getting is that the reason that we have built up this tower and chosen to separate ourselves from the rest of the world is due to our own inner sense of shame and lack of self-worth. We have chosen to separate ourselves from the rest of the world, keep ourselves at this height so that nobody actually sees the truth of us, which we do not feel is very palatable. And I don't think that that is a truth. I think that is something that people chose to tell you to believe. I've been through this in my life. I know a lot of people have been through that too, and our parents instill these fears in us in a way to protect us, even though it's not actually protecting us. It's holding us back. It's keeping us in a box. It's keeping us in a tower and keeping us from living living life as our authentic selves, living in our authenticity. People's parents who are, I'm doing this for your own protection. I'm trying to give you all this advice. If you aren't, crossing every T, dotting every I, if you're not making sure you save, if you don't go to college and get a good job and make sure you have that job and blah, 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 blah. It's like there's so much fear underneath all of this. And there's I don't even know if it's a mask being worn. I think that it's just a separation. We have this tower, right? So you're not wearing a mask. You're just keeping yourself away from people. You're not allowing people to see you close up. You're not allowing people to see your details because some sort of shame was instilled in you around who you are and what you're capable of. Two of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. And I think it's probably about, I said it, I think it's probably about money. Make sure you have a good job. Make sure you do this. This isn't practical. This isn't solid. This isn't grounded. Well, neither is the world right now. And quite frankly, for all of these things that some people and some people's parents have insisted must happen for people to be safe and stable, right? The world is falling apart, so it's not really working out that great, is it? We're in a time where we have some really big opportunities to innovate and change the way things are done. Things are falling apart in the world. Things are really ugly out there, and we all know that the way things have been done is not working for the majority of people. And dare I say, the way things have been done isn't working for you either. It's only served to keep you separated from the rest of the world. And now that tower that you have so carefully crafted to keep yourself separate from everybody so they can't see whatever it is your truth, so you don't have to deal with that reality is crumbling. Do you choose to rebuild your ivory tower, or shall you plant a garden instead? That was the very last bit of that message. But if the divine fells that tower, you can choose to rebuild another tower, and it will again fall. Should you choose to plant a garden? The thing about a garden is that it nourishes and connects a lot of people. You build a tower, all you have to do is sit in it. You build a garden, you will have people coming to tend to the garden. You will have people coming to enjoy the fruits of that garden and the vegetables and whatever else you're growing there. You are nourishing people. You are giving them a place to connect. And it seems to me that the tower falling in your life that has separated you from people is not really that bad of a thing, because it's time to plant a garden instead and really work to connect with people along shared interests, ideas, and supporting and nourishing each other instead of sitting in that tower and, maybe throwing out hundreds or something every now and then. I don't know why that imagery came to my mind. The raccoon and sycamore, curiosity, which came out inverted, and that speaks of fear. There's a lot of judgment in this reading, and there's a lot of judgment in the energy, and whoever this is resonating with, it's not yours. It's other people's ideas, other people's beliefs, other people's judgment of things they have no business judging, such as your heart's desires and your passions, your goals and dreams, which, I was talked out of going into college for music and theater because that wasn't practical. I was good at science, and then I dropped out of that too. Dragonfly and pansy, balance. The tower falling is scary, and it is going to reveal a lot of things. And I keep thinking about all of those half-truths, you know, that truth or consequences game, where if you've answered the question correctly, all of a sudden there's more to it. And I think that's something that you're facing now. There have been half-truths told, and people are starting to question that and asking more questions and ask for those answers. And so a picture of the truth is starting to reveal, and that is what is tearing that tower down. I don't necessarily think that this tower falling is a bad thing. I think it has only served to isolate you from other people. I think it's only served also to protect you from the truth. And there is a beautiful truth. There is a beautiful truth waiting in the rubble of that tower, and a beautiful garden waiting to be sown. Snail and huckleberry, trust in the invisible. Change is scary. Upheaval is scary. When we finally see the full truth, when those dots are connected and we see the bigger picture and things start to fall apart, that's scary. But if we think about the tower card in the tarot, there's always that tower, and then there's the lightning bolt that comes in, and that's illumination. It's understanding that comes in. You know, the divine doesn't just say, smacking it down, you dummy. I'm not letting you build this. The divine says, this, you need to understand why we're not doing this. And trust in the invisible here. Snail and huckleberry, understand that there is a reason for this. And I know it's hard to take that sort of more divine perspective and understand that every experience is a rich experience. It's not about judging it good or bad, or putting into that binary black, white, good, bad, right, wrong, all of that. We're not labeling people or situations or things good or bad. We're trying to learn from them and grow and use that information to become more authentic and more fulfilled versions of ourselves and live our human existence with joy, because that is our birthright. And so this may be uncomfortable, and I think there may be some embarrassment and shame in that as it comes down, but I encourage you to release that, to really think about whether this is, well, shame is generally something that's placed on us by other people, and you don't have to hold that. You don't have to be ashamed of your truth. You don't have to be ashamed of who you are. And know that this tower is falling, that these things are crumbling for a good reason. And that's to get you out of that tower and into the garden, where you can dig your hands into the dirt and hold the hands of others who are doing the same with you, to create and craft that beautiful community of people that nourishes and supports each other and works towards common goals, so that you can be part of that, not placed somewhere above it or away from it because you think you need to be. You don't. Trust in the invisible, trust in the divine, and that divine plan and the divine timing that's coming to play here. What's being revealed needs to be revealed, and you will get through it, and you'll be better for it. I hope that helped. I'm Reverend Meggus. I'm a priest of Hades, a hollow bone, and a green witch. I also do shadow work. Check out my website, The Owl and the Wolf. If you'd like to book a personal session with me, you can do that right there. Love you, bye.